would like to cover this week is just a little bit, how would one avoid getting hip arthritis? Now, about 7% of the population, when they get to 50 or 60, are going to get hip arthritis. And so an interesting thing is that in Asia, like in China and Eastern Asian countries, they have very, very little hip arthritis. Just join me for doorstep heel lowers. Now, if you don't have a portable doorstep, you can just put a hand on a wall and bend your knees. Just lean into the wall. There you're going up and down and getting heel lows and lifts. I'll just get back to hip arthritis shortly, but just think about going down, get a nice stretch. Come on up, you get a nice strength workout. Down and up. I can sell you a portable doorstep. If all else fails, just go to your back door and use at the end of the session and just do a minute up and down. That's all you need, possibly 2 or 3 times a week. And this puts some strength and mobility back in your ankles. The sort of strength and mobility you might have walking barefoot over rough ground, but we don't have that nowadays. So yeah, 7% or so of the population will get hip arthritis. Now, Asians don't. People in Saudi Arabia don't get hip arthritis. So it's not to do with genetics, because Saudi Arabians are probably fairly genetically similar to us, and Asians are quite different, but it's not to do with genetics. And in both those countries, there's 2 things that they do. One is they sit cross-legged quite regularly. They ditch the chairs. And also when they toilet, they still quite frequently use squat toilets. So just avoiding sitting in a chair, sitting cross-legged, and being able to deep squat. And, you know, I think I rather like the gym goers version of a deep squat is like, just by way of saying it, you might like to join me if you can. Maybe you just put your hand on the door jamb, but if you can just go down into a deep squat. And there you go. You've just joined all the Saudi Arabians and East Asians, and you're not going to get hip arthritis. If you do that every day, you'll be pretty right. Now, if you can't do that, but you can, and this is a really nice hip flexibility stretch. So there you go. This is putting flexibility back into the hips. And it's getting the muscles around there a little bit stronger, a little bit more, better coordination. So you've got strength, coordination, and above all, flexibility around your hips. And so when we're talking about sitting cross-legged, this is your sit cross-legged test. You just you can grab your feet in and just pull in. Now we're in very good athletic territory here, because the conditioning coach for the All Blacks has a couple of articles in the newspaper about how he wants us all to be as flexible in our hips as kids. Now, here's the terrible thing is that if we indulge in looking flexible around our hips, people will think, well, we're not adults anymore, because only kids do that. Only kids sit cross-legged. This is not what adults do, is it? So just to make it work a little bit, so you can grab your feet, just pull them back. This is flexibility for your ankles. And then we just hands on the knees, pull back. The elbows are coming into your lower ribs. Feel the lower shoulder blades pulling in together. So you've got your mid-back in particular, it's really got some work happening. And then we might want to just, if you've got your knees up here, you haven't got much flexibility, you're a dead sitter for arthritis. So just think about, not to scare you, but just think about pushing the knees down, pulling the elbows back. When you pull those bent elbows back, can you feel your back muscles working as well? So sitting cross-legged can be a very powerful thing just to make sure you don't get hip arthritis. Okay, so just going on what Nick, the All Blacks strength coach, was talking about. He had the kids doing squats and cross-legged. He was also teaching the kids and getting them to demonstrate for the newspaper how to put their toe in their mouth. So, you know, you're saying, so any sort of thing, oh, can I put my toe in there? And what's your toe in your mouth index? I mean, are you sort of a whole handspan away? And is it the same both sides? Could you put your toe in your mouth? I'm really stiff on this side, it appears. All right, so, and you could get a friend to measure up with a ruler. Are you 30 centimeters away? Are you 10 centimeters away? This is how you know whether you're heading in the right direction, so you won't get hip arthritis. There's lots of other benefits as well. So I have a chair, and you have a chair, hopefully. So this, if you sit a lot, you get very stiff in your hips. Truck driving, taxi driving, school teacher marking exams, you know, just sitting, it's going to really stiffen up your hips. So you can just pull your chair away from your desk, and then you lean on your knee. And imagine you could stop for your tea break, if we have such things nowadays. You might have to go on Zoom to do your tea break and talk to your friends, right? All right, so the knee, this is like lean on a knee. We're not just pushing with the elbow, we're pushing with the whole shoulder, arm, and elbow, so the whole lot's going down, and that's really in balance now. And you can talk about to your friends about what I did in the weekend. Probably want to avoid politics and religion, just whatever, and just, I liken this to the, you know, dance troupe, the ballet dancers are just stretching out, they're getting themselves flexible, and they're talking about what they did in the weekend, and just lean on the knee. Okay, well, what's your angle? You're up here, you're down there. What's your angle? Okay, so that's lean on the knee, but there's also the knee to opposite breast. Very, very, oh, right. This is what I haven't been doing for a while. Now, the worst thing out is that if you get a lot of anxieties, because there's a lot of reason for anxiety at the moment, you forget to do these stretches. And I know I do. And we can just go the other side. So if you take nothing else away from today, think about, if you're sitting a lot, use your chair to remind you to do some stretches. Now, you remember we had lean on the knee, we had knee up to the chest, and we had sitting cross-legged on the floor, and we just got the door jam. Everyone can do this to some degree. Just the door jam, lean back, and enjoy that. All right, so, okay, so I'm just going to take myself into the monkey squat. And we want a little bit of strength around our hips. So here you see my feet are slightly wider than the hips and the toes pointing slightly outwards. I hope you can see that all right. The arms are just dangling because when we poke our bottom backwards, these are like ship's ropes and they're dangling between our knees. Okay. Now, sometimes people are just round it. You try and go into a squat, you put your spine in a seat, you can't go there, can you? So let's just work out how we can make this happen. So you're standing, ship's ropes, arms, and you just think about making space between your lower ribs and your belt line. So you see that, so you see fingers up, you just made some space here. Second rib breastbone lift, got a nice proud chest, you feel like an athlete now. Poke your bottom back, send your bottom to the wall behind. Now the arms are dangling. See that really straight back now? So that's monkey. And you know, you can really get going. Now, you don't have to do a lot of it, but if you program the movement in, then the strength will follow. Okay, so we can go sideways. And yeah, I'm the king of the swingers. Yeah, okay. And I love this because only kids do this. So adults don't do it, but that's to our detriment because we end up being very old and decrepit. And there's a company, eggs, as sure as eggs are eggs, there's some company's going to make a toilet seat raiser because you can't actually sit on the toilet when you get to 70 years old. So unnecessary. All right, so that was monkey. And this is something you could get out of your chair and think about doing monkey. I'll just show you the monkey chair squat. So your chair isn't your enemy unless you make it your friend. And so again, just remembering to get out of that C-curve thing, you just can't squat. So make space from the belt line to the lower ribs, like make space. You can put your fingers and thumbs there, make space. A little bit of lift in second rib, breastbone area. Dangle your arms, just send your bottom back. Dangle your both sides. And now if we just keep lowering, send your bottom back. It's like you're a peacock displaying your tail feathers, a nice straight back. So if you haven't got a chair, go and get one. So just hinge at the hips. Just feel like really straight back. Still got space between the belt line and the lower ribs. Yep, and the second rib breastbone is just lifting. We haven't got that C-curve. Yeah, so you feel your mid-back working. And just dangle ship's ropes arms and push on up. And congratulations, you've just solved 90% of the likely problems with your hips once you get to 60 or 70 years old. So I'm just going to pull a mat out. And if you've got a good soft carpet, this will do very well as well. It's just nice to drop into tall kneeling and explore what we can do with tall kneeling. Now, this is a very postural place to be because good posture is going to be tall, relaxed, and aligned. Now, it's not very nice doing your C-curve thing here. So you do tend to have space between the belt line and the ribs. Up we go. So that's sort of, if you like a breastbone sinking into your belly button like a dagger, well, make space. You see, that can make quite a lot of space there. Second rib breastbone lift, and just finding tall, relaxed, and aligned. So if you've found tall, relaxed, and aligned, suddenly it should be quite easy to sort of sway across skirt. And you just feel that. And there's a nice little stretch going on the side of the hips, but you're still tall, relaxed, and aligned. Now, here's a little image you might like. Imagine all these body parts are polystyrene blocks with rubber bands attached. So you've got a polystyrene block for a thigh, and you've got a polystyrene block hips, and so on. And imagine now, this is a pool that's being filled up with water, and your polystyrene blocks are just trying to bob up to the ceiling. Did that help you make space? Did that help second rib breastbone lift? And did you just feel like you could just get a little bit freer? Did you relax between the side of the neck and the shoulder? So we can do some things now. We can take our hand and pretend we're swimming a fish. Look at your fingernails. What color you will varnish on your fingernails today? Well, just keep an eye on it. And then just read the crib notes on your palm. Maybe just if it, now the whole body's twisting. Now the freedom of movement and the twist for your spine happens when you're really tall, relaxed, and aligned. You try and sink down, it's horrible. You don't hardly twist at all, it's just nice and tall. Other side, look at your palm, look at your finger, back of your fingers, and just let the whole body twist. Here's another twist the spine exercise. You can't do this in that C-curve thing. It just doesn't work. You can try it, we might try it. So imagine you're pulling strings. So reach for a string, pull back. Now that bent elbow and ribs are way back, and reach for a string. And imagine you're running through treacle. Reach, the elbows all the way back. You know, we could put one of those green screens behind us and we could be pretending to run through a Steven Spielberg jungle. And we've got a big, huge, great Tyrannosaurus Rex after us, and it's a nightmare, and we just pull, pull, pull. 3, 2, 1. Phew. I think it's nice now just to take a little stretch. So do you really feel like your ribs are rotating over each other like stacked dinner plates? I have a stretch band here. You may not have a stretch band, in which case just pretend you got one. Put the stretch band under the back of your ankles and pull it up to the top of your shoulders. If you lean back, you feel your tummy's working and your quad muscles. It's very hard to just, it's awful just round your back, right? So again, you've got this tall, relaxed, and aligned. So, okay, so just send a band. So if the band and hands are going up, well, the elbow's going up. And did you notice your ribs are going up as well? Just let the freedom of movement be there. Now, did you automatically sort of get your glute muscles working like they're squeezing together on a credit card? Or were they relaxed? And it doesn't matter, you're just observing. Maybe you do a little squeeze like a credit card squeeze between your glutes. It might feel a little bit more safe and secure there. Wow, better try the other side. It's working our bat wing muscles, right? fill out the muscles here, and the bat wings won't be so obvious, right? Yeah. That's kind of a ladies thing, I know. It's I don't know if men actually notice it very much, actually. But, I mean, you can always ask your nearest and dearest, oh, do you worry about my bat wings? Oh, what bat wings, dear? So, you know, maybe not so big as you after all. All right. So for the pulling string, I just would like you just to take a, you lose your space between your belt line and your ribs, like, and your second rib breastbone goes down. And now you try, there's no, it's just not comfortable unless you go tall, and then you got your range of movement. And there's scientific papers on that, but you know, just being tall, you get more twist in your body. So triceps towel stretch. Now you might have a tea towel. Just got the band doubled over, you see, and get the hands close together, and take the hand down and back, side to side. Towel the wall behind you. You got used to that? You can let the ribs lift a little on that top arm side. Supposing we take the arms down for a little bit. Scrub, scrub, scrub. Arms up and back. Scrub, scrub, scrub. And just switch over. Triceps towel stretch. This happens to be one of those stretches for your shoulder girdle, like we had daily maintenance stretches for our hips previously. So up with the top band. This is my bad side. I never like to demonstrate my bad side first, because hopefully people know what to do and they're not watching you now. Push the band back, side, side, side. Take the band down, side, side, side. All right, go up and 1, 2, 3, and down 1, 2, 3, and phew, let's come out of that. Onto all fours. Now you might not have been very good at doing a deep squat. Knees slightly wide, and just let your bottom go back to whatever your knees will let you do. And if you go all the way down, well, great. When you come up, you've got your weight at the front of your palm. And so you're stretching out your palm and strengthening up your flexor muscles here in your wrist and your fingers. So you can push back with your fingers and come up, and you're loading your wrists and palms. You don't usually do this, so you don't need to do very much to make a huge difference. Maybe this is just enough to minimize the carpal tunnel problem. Carpal tunnel problem just through here, the wrist and the palm. Okay, so if you're good to go all the way down, we'll just go sink down, hindy on heels, and just take your, again, this is a little bit of flexibility around your hips and side ribs. If your knees will let you do it, it's good. If they don't, well, you're just going to be up higher. The up higher version is still getting some really nice hip flexibility. You know, while we're here, we're just for the sake of efficiently doing something nice for us, just touch your thumbs together and slide them away. And we've got the puppy pose stretch. Now, there's some beautiful things that just happen when you do yoga. I have my own version of yoga. Apologies to the hardline yoga practitioners. It's just the way I do it. So take one hand back, slide it back, and push into that long arm in front. And then you can just take your body to the left and the right and look for a stretch. Just all the way around. Like if you push over to the long arm side, you're stretching sort of the outside of the armpit. And if you push over the other side, you're just sinking your chest down. So, okay, 2, 1, 0. We're switching over. So one arm's forward, nice arm, long arm. And if we press over to the long arm side, we're stretching sort of side of the armpit and the ribs. And if we come over there and just sink down, well, we're getting, what would that be? Inside of the armpit and the ribs somewhat. So from here, let's just go into a sort of gorilla fists. And you might just like to go and just, can you turn on a sixpence and work on gorilla fists? Now, this is actually a good check for if you can form a fist and put weight on it, you know you've got healthy knuckles, right? Because what with the on-roads of bad diets and pollution, you know, there's often a little bit of stiff fingers, which could be a harbinger for rheumatoid arthritis. So, and it could be just something that gets your fingers just stretching out nicely. It might be enough to keep it at bay. So, but if you can't get down there, you know, if you have your arms well forward, there's a lot of weight there. You say, oh, I can't do that. Well, just bring the fist closer to your knees, and then you can just do it really gently. And so, and I've got one more thing for your hands. Remember we had pushing through the front of the palms. Or get your wrist up. And you might say, oh, I can't put much load on there. Well, that's all right. Bring the hands back to the knees and you've got put a little bit of load on. This is how we can simply use the ground or the mat. We don't need fancy equipment to do some wrist and finger maintenance. Everything else maintenance. I'm going to just do some classic Pilates moves. Pilates 190-90. See how I've got my arms pointing up to about 2/3 of the way up the wall? The elbows are kind of locked. Imagine you're splashing the water with ships or rowing boat oars. And we like to have awareness of our body. Just enjoy that, see how you find that. You could just touch your tummy muscles and you say, oh, they're working. We didn't have to think about it, did we? We don't have to work it much harder than that. We could if we like. If you wish to join me, just take your legs long, touch your heels together. You might be back at the previous. And we'll just come back to here now. Now, I would like for you to go find a cushion or just something to put between your knees. Anything you put between your knees. And just pump the 100. Excuse me a minute. And I got it doubled over. And so we've now just put some gentle loading on the inside leg muscles. Pumping, inhale, 2, 3, 4, 5. Exhale, 2, 3, 4, 5. Now squeeze, squeeze. Inhale, 2, 3, 4, 5. Exhale, 2, 3, 4, 5. And just let the weight come off. Inhale, 2, 3, 4, 5. Exhale, 2. And again, just squeeze. How's your inner thigh muscles? I know for me that they're a bit moth-eaten, so they actually send a little bit of aches and pains into my lower tummy. Were you aware of something like that yourself? Probably not, but if you're aware that you need to strength and flexibility into these inside leg muscles, and it might take away pain and ache in the lower tummy, just working the inside leg muscles. Preparation for the roll-up. I want you to imagine just lying in bed, and you're going to sit up in bed. This is preparation for the roll-up. Stick your fingers under your thighs and press through your elbows. There you go. And there's the horseshoe part of the roll-up. The ribs lift, front, back, and sides of the ribs lift. The back of the neck lengthens and lifts. There you go, horseshoe. Down we go, lying back in bed. Sitting up, head up, fingers under thighs, and the elbows will push, and you just come on up. This is how we get through the sticking point. So if that's good version for you, stick with that. Otherwise, arms behind for a full roll-up. Arms up, head up. When you're looking between your feet, just work the tummy and pull your stuff up. Ribs lifting, front, back, and sides, back and neck lifting. All right, so now you've got your fingers under thighs version. And we've got the full roll-up version. And when you're up in that horseshoe, well, let's just come up there, if we can get up there. Just think about the ribs lifting in front and back, and the back of the neck slightly gently lifting. So if we've got the ribs lifting away from the hips, that's keeping it a little straighter in the lower back, less chance of putting a large bend in those lower spinal joints. Okay, so leg to the ceiling. Here is a single leg circle. You see my arms are a bit wider, my shoulder blades are flat to the mat like dinner plates. Can you breathe at the same time as moving your leg round in circles? Did breathing make you think about smiling with your cheeks and relaxing your neck? Did you start to feel like a kid who's just rolling around on the grass like kindergarten kid, whatever they do? And just bend the knee, do a little knee bounce there. Shoulder blades flat to the mat. Breathing into a balloon-like belly from the pelvic floor. Now listen to this, right up to the nipples in front and the bra strap at back. And we could just switch to the other leg, just doing a circle. You know, it's obviously that's a single leg. So once we got it in action, we just think about being a kid lying back and enjoying, I don't know what you call it, a garden or lawn moment. Shoulder blades flat, smiley cheeks. And the breath, all the way from pelvic floor right up to, pardon me, nipples in front, bra strap at back. At the peak of the breath, just relax your neck. Now movement is yummy now. You've got the tummy bracing. You can put your hands on your tummy. It's bracing, but you can also breathe with it. What a clever tummy. These muscles are breathing and bracing at the same time. Bend the knee. And just asking you, did the back stay on the mat or is it off the mat? I'm guessing you could probably slide your fingers under your back. It's off the mat, but that's fine. It's not a worry. Nice big balloon breath here. And rocking boat, so just hands behind the knees, heads up. And you just, this time you're losing your space between your belt line and your ribs, just curling up. All right, and make like a rocking chair. You can get a nice roundy back now. So we actually got that C curve in our spine. Before, when we were doing monkey squat, we had a really straight back, but now it's rounded, and that's all right. Is the tummy working? Okay, we'll just come up to seated. Put a cushion between your knees. What's it going to be like? We work these inner thighs now. This is all about strength, control, and flexibility for all the muscles around the hips, because we don't want to get hip arthritis. Here we go. And we just, yeah, okay, there we go. I've just put that, so it's more or less between my shins here. And that's automatically got a little bit of squeeze here. All right, now you might say, well, I'll just go in and out of that. That's like a pillow squeeze, rocking boat or rocking chair. You can join me for rolling like a ball. Now here's a bracelet, grip around the wrist. Just hug in. And keep your eyes on your belly and just roll back. And keep your eyes on your belly. I'm going to do another 3. And you might be just sitting it out, or you might be just holding that start position. See, we've got that C curve in our spine now. And that's all right. We wouldn't want to hold this all day, a C curve like this, but it's fine. A very good thing to do in small doses. Single leg stretch. Let's just have a hand outside long here. So it's just single, we're just working the legs in line, okay? They're not going left or right, just forward and back. And in, and away we go. Out and in, and let's switch. So you can see that basic action. Is your back staying flat to the mat? It probably is, but it doesn't matter. The thing is, we're just doing that movement. All the cue is that that leg goes directly forward and back. Let's just change it up a little. Imagine your hands bouncing a ball. We just bounce the leg away and it comes back. We'll do 3 on one side. Yeah, just one more. But just bounce the leg away and let it come back. You feel your tummy really works at the end of that bounce. Back it comes. All right, take a little break. So we would like to have some side movement, because for soccer players, for example, really high rate of hip damage, really high rate of hip arthritis in soccer players in their 40s to 70s. So we might like to practice a little bit of side movement for the legs to get better control and flexibility and coordination. So just supposing we come in, and this time we just send the leg out the side. We just stay with this one now. Send it out the side. And why don't you just take the arm out the side as well? Touch the knee, out the side. See, you get the idea? So there we go. And this is really working the side muscle coordination here. Yeah, also, foot goes out, wave at the crowds. This could be a good soccer player warm-up. We say, these soccer players are acting like kids. They're just, we don't want to pay them millions of dollars at the other side. So there we go. And there we go. And out and touch the knee. There we go. Out and touch the knee. See, so kids, you know, they got really good movements. They still got it, but we have to practice doing what kids do, and never mind what people think. All right, so I'm just going to come roll up to spine stretch forward. So we're still thinking about that little bit of space from the belt line to the ribs, second rib lift. So we're sitting up pretty much like 3 sides of a box. Now, how about we just look up with our eyeballs up under our eyebrows. Now, this is easy if you've made space in your belly and the second rib lifting. You make your C curve, well, it's awful, but space in the belly, second rib lifting, look up at the ceiling. So we're going to go into spine stretch forward. Well, first thing is tilt your head. When the chin's on the chest, keep really tall as you roll each vertebra forward. There we go. And then Each vertebra rolls back. You're just making sure you got your belly space, you got your second rib lifting. Look up. Your chin's closed, you're stretching your throat. Look down, and then make the spine stretch forward happen. Remember, you just make sure you got the length in front, and now you may look up. Okay, so you were getting a throat stretch, right? And it's a nice straight one. If we've got the second rib breastbone lifting, which can only comfortably be done if you made space from your belt line to your ribs, then you can look up and you can really start doing some really nice neck muscle, tight throat maintenance. And if you've got a snoring problem, well, guess what? It will help cure the snoring problem because you've got your chin being able to stay forward and not going back and causing you to snore. Right, so let's just go into sideline. And how can we get some nice, flexible, coordinated hips? Let's just look at this, the classic front and back kick. Here we've just got the head propped on it, hand and elbow, legs straight, swing them forward, and just show us a front and back kick. We're getting flexibility and strength and coordination in the hip. Well, are you? Because that'll stop us getting arthritis in later life. Yeah, and I think a lot of this is if you start looking like a silly kid doing silly stuff, it's probably good for your hips, right? All right, so now how about in this position, think about getting your toe, your big toe in your mouth. What does that look like? Okay, right, and I'm going to lean forward, get my foot on the ground. How am I doing here? I can put the lange Nase, the long nose for Germans, the thumb on the nose and the finger on the knee, toe. How are you doing? Can you do that? Is this my bragging point, or has somebody got their big toe in their nose? Let's go the other side. So if you want flexible hips, you got the hand on elbow and everything, legs forward, front and back kick. If you want the flexible hips, just pretend to be a kid. Kids have all the fun. Why can't we? Front and back. You might notice my ankle's moving as well. Leg forward, the toes are pointing forward, leg back, the toes are pointing backwards. All right, so how flexible are you? Can you put your big toe in your mouth? Not today. Okay, so I just put this is my real tight side. All right, get 2 hands in there. Yeah, this is a really tight side. That's worth knowing. Okay, now, okay, so you probably wouldn't want to suck your toe, right? But you would want to have the flexibility though. I'm telling you, you would, believe it or not. It's good for you to have flexible hips. All Blacks coach can't be wrong. Okay, so I'm just going back to the first side for up and down kick, and we're going to do some really round the whole hip joint type stuff here. I'm just going to go to clam position. See, my head's on the pillow of my hand. My head's just sinking down on the relaxed on the hand. Now the neck's not having to work. So supposing I take this leg, tie a string around your knee, and just imagine the string. Maybe it's a bow tie, a bow ribbon or something. Just you take your hand and ask the knee to go up, but the foot's staying low. Come on, knee, come on up a bit more. And you just pull the string on your knee and up you go. Okay, so we could check out the muscles working there. Oh yeah, that's good. All right, let's up the ante a little. Let's straighten the leg. We've got a long lever now. Up. You can still think about a ribbon tied around your knee. Up. Up. That's an up and down kick. They're just having fun with that. Okay. And you could put a thumb on your top of your hip pocket. That's really working, isn't it? Now, if we only did strength work for this muscle, you can really feel it working, and never did the flexibility. You know, gym goers that go 3 times to the gym every week, gym goes 3 times a week, they will have more hip arthritis in later life. So the problem is they're not balancing the work up. They're only exercising probably the butt muscles and not the inside leg muscles. They're not doing the flexibility. So that's not a slur against gym going. They just need to think about balancing the work and getting the flexibility. All right, so we are going to do the inside thigh muscles. Remember the front and back kick we had first? Well, this is how we're going to do front and back kick for the lower leg. All right, so just take the hand out front. So you got your, we'll hug a shin in. All right, so front and back. There we go. And you'll find you really haven't pushed that arm. All right. Okay, so we're working inside thigh. And that's a really important area to work. How are we going to do the up and down kick here? Well, we can sort of do it there. Your legs in line with your body. And this is the inside leg work that your gym bunnies need. They're going to 3 times a week to the gym. They need to be doing this as well because this area tends to be neglected. How's your inside leg working? Okay, so I'm just going to take this thigh. Okay, knee over knee, foot over foot. We'll just take this knee back. Now you can't probably see it, but this is 45 degrees leaning back on the hips now. And I've got this leg here. I can put my hand on my thigh here. So I can do inside, it's a clam action. We were doing something similar with the top leg before. And the head's heavy on the hand. And we're just working that inside leg. And you know the muscles are working there. Okay, so we'll have a little stretch out later, very shortly. Leg straight. Whoa, this is really working it. Can we do the ribbon tied around the knee thing? Oh, wow, that's kind of mean there. Why is it mean? Because this is the thing I should have been doing 5 years ago. I'm a little out of balance. Oh. So I'm looking at bringing the nicest, meanest inside leg exercises that you've ever had a chance to smile over as you're doing them. I'm going to go to the other side. So we're thinking about the inside leg lifts now. We've got the head down. This is called clam, side clam position. This is because this is a clam here. Head's down heavy on the pillow of the hand. You can relax your neck. So we're just doing the clam action. Remember the ribbon around your knee, up and down. And so you're just making your body sort of comfortable. Is your ribs sinking to the mat, or maybe they're lifting a bit? What's comfortable? Are your head heavy on your hand, or do you like to lift your head? What's comfortable? Because if it's comfortable, you'll enjoy doing it. You'll come back for next week, and I got a new client or whatever, or you know, you're doing something nice and useful for your body. Okay, just remember to keep the top hip forward as you go up. Yeah, top hip forward, right? Let's straighten the leg now. Up and down. Up and down. Is time flying for you? We've still got a good 15 minutes to go. Up. That's really getting a little bit of a side hip workout. Up. Let's have a couple more. The head's heavy on the hand. We're still smiling. Okay, so we'll come back to knee over knee, foot over foot. We'll just take this top leg back, and the hips are leaning back at 45 degrees. You can't see that 45, but that is what it is. So we can do the inside leg lift. And we'll bring it up. Imagine a string around your knee. So we're getting a little workout for our deltoid muscles here. This is good too. And there's a lot of coordination and control going on. And if you just relax, smiley cheeks, head heavy, so your neck's relaxed. If you're relaxed around your cheeks and your neck, you're listening to your body better. And the brain is actually programming in really nice, smooth, relaxed movements, just because you're smiling with your cheeks and relaxing your neck. So let's have the legs straight. Whoa, this is going to be interesting. Oh. And you got the hand pulling the string up, and the string's tied around your knee. Oh, this is kind of mean. Mean but good. So we're going to review our stretches. Remember, we're seated in a chair before. Can we do those similar stretches seated on the ground? Lean on a knee, put the shin over the opposite leg. And you could sort of imagine this as a coffee cup moment. You have perhaps a green tea is better, because if you spill it, it won't stain the carpet, right? But you can have a cup of green tea and talk to your friends about what's happening over the weekend or whatever, or what the kids are doing or whatever, and just leaning on the knee. Nice thing about stretching is, like, I have this picture of the ballet dancers warm up and warm down. This is where they get to, oh, you know what happened, and they always stretch their good side more than their bad sides, because they don't like showing off their weaknesses, right? I'm going to go over to my bad side now. By the way, just check, did you get your knee down to about 0 degrees here, or is it up and about, almost vertical? Just, what's the other side like? Oh, this is my tight side. I don't want to show you the side. Okay, there's a bigger angle. What's yours doing? You've got the flexibility there? And just let down. And so the nice thing about community stretching, you're stretching together in a yoga class or whatever, you look around and it takes your mind off the stretching, because stretching is either boring or painful, right? It's neither one nor the other, but it's really enjoyable if you can be with friends stretching, right? I'm going to go to the bent knee to opposite breast. Just hug the knee in. We're making for flexibility. So some of these you can do sitting on a park bench. Maybe you're on a long drive. So you stop and there's a bus stop bench or a park bench. And that's where you throw away your modesty because you don't care who's watching you. Because we all know that you're not supposed to do childlike stretches in public. We all know that. But knowing that means that we're going to end up with hip arthritis. So what do? Maybe you just need to be a closet stretcher and fit it in first thing in the morning. Just hug your knee. Bent knee to opposite breast. And we can, from here, we can do 2 more seated stretches just to find out where we're at. So we just take the legs wide and just see where we're at there. And first off, we might find we're not very strong in these muscles in front. So we've got that C-curve thing, right? So we might have to put our hands behind, just up on your fingers like this. And there we go. We've got the distance between the belt line and the ribs and a little bit of secondary breastbone. Lift. All right. Now, if you were to just keep energizing your lift and lift in front and keep lifting and take your hands forward, can you hold there? Oh, I'm not sure I can do this too long. It's got lots of muscles working through here. All right, so. And the perspective thing here is you think I'm doing a really good stretch, but it's not as good as what it might look on the screen for you. So I'm actually only about 85, 90 degrees. So I got to work on this. So where are you at? Okay, let's just come on in. Let's keep this stretch thing going. What was the stretch I wanted? We'll just get into sideline quad stretch. Sideline quad stretch. Let's just make it a little more interesting. Turn it into an up and over version. Let's take the lower knee up a little and just straighten the leg. So we just take the knee up and over, like you're intending to touch the knee down behind. And we can just come up and over. Up. And oh my goodness, over. That's kind of tight. Up and over. And now you might be finding you've got a little more, you got to use it. Can you take the knee down a little lower? Now, this feels like I got olive oil in my hip joint. It's like just getting a little bit of a lube. And yeah, that's really putting back the control and the coordination and flexibility back in that hip joint. And you notice we could just go straight forward and back, and you might just try that. So which do you like the most, forward and back? I don't like this version. Or is the up and over kind of nicer? This one is probably going to be the better one, and I think it feels nicer, but maybe you're different. Maybe it's good to practice a little sideways movement in these legs, because when we're walking or running, we're just going forward and backwards and not taking things out the side. Let's go the other side. So quad stretch sideline, and we're doing an up and over. Lower leg forward and knee straight, just up and over. Oh, this side I think is even up and over on the way back, and up and over on the way forward. And I don't know about you, but this feels like a really nice quad stretch mobilization that's doing a few other things as well. I feel like the hip joint's getting a bit of lubrication. Okay. I'm going to take us into a little bit of awareness of getting the big glute muscle activated. We just lie on our front foot. That's this long line of glute activation. Just I've got hands stacked under my cheek here, heads up a little bit. Just lift a long leg and lower, and do it 2 more times. Lift a long leg, okay, and lower. Now, does the rest of the body just brace? Does the body stay still, or does it rock to the side as you lift the leg? Let's go the other side. I think I did 4, actually. So the other leg just lifts. Now, did the body rock to the side, or did the rest of the whole body just brace to keep the other arms, legs, and body still? What did it do for you? All right, so that's the first thing. So let's see, if you could just think about putting your bottom up the wall, to the ceiling, bottom up to the ceiling, so there's no weight on your pubic bone. And now try lifting a leg. Right, okay. So no weight on the pubic bone, and just try lifting a leg. Then we get lots of muscles working just to hold that together. Okay, if the pubic bone's off the ground, I'm suggesting you're not going to be rolling your body side to side. There's lots of muscles working. Okay, so by the way, if you're getting pain in your lower back, just put a cushion under your tummy and try that. Okay, so other leg. So you just get your bottom poking up to the wall, up to the ceiling, bottom to the ceiling. The pubic bone, there's hardly any weight on it, and just lift a long leg and lower. I have ways of making things difficult. Okay, so a lot of muscles working, just bracing you, so you can make that movement happen with minimal weight on your pubic bone. Okay, let go of any excess tension in your neck by smiling with your cheeks. Okay, all right, so let's just prop on the elbows. Sphinx stretch, just like the Sphinx. And just feeling a stretch in your tummy and along the front of your lower spine. Now, I'm just going to take us down into glute activation again, but now we're really working on the glute activation. So push your pubic bone into the mat this time. Pubic bone pressing into the mat. You might feel your tummy sort of curling a bit, tailbone between the legs. Up we go. Legs lifting. Pubic bone to the mat and lower. And I'm just asking a question. I'm not telling you to do it, but is that big glute muscle fine as you lift the leg and lower? Like, what would that be like a squeeze? How would you know it was working? Lift the leg, is the glute muscle squeezing? It's a very lazy muscle. It can choose not to work, and the hamstrings take over. Up and down. Could we get just the back of your knuckles here on that glute muscle, about lower hip pocket? Up. Is it firming up like a bun of steel, or is it like jelly? Is it a jelly glute? So lift, squeeze. Now, if you think about, pardon me, a squeeze of the back passage, a little squeeze and lift of the back passage, and you think about squeezing the glutes together, well, you should have that bun of steel working for you. So we'll just get that muscle thinking about working. The pubic bone press the mat, tailbone tuck. You could think about squeezing a credit card between, you know where. Let's just try the other side there. Pubic bone pressing to the mat, tailbone tuck. You got your knuckles there on your lower glute. This is glute activation. And perhaps when we're down, we just thought, oh, relax, that's the jelly moment, and then lift, and that's your bun of steel moment. There we go. And we'll just do another 10 seconds or so. Lift and squeeze and lower. Lift and squeeze and lower. So when you're down, you got your jelly moment, and when you're lifted, you got your bun of steel moment. All right, so I'm just going to prop on the elbows and come up to knees a little wider. Just see if you can go down in the rest position. And we can just take a magic moment to do that balloon style breath. And so balloon is the right word here. Knees close to chest, you begin to feel a little bit more of the movement in the pelvic floor. So if I said to you, breathe into your belly and pelvic floor like the balloons, just breathe in. And you can feel a little bit of stretching and ballooning. And at the peak of the breath, relax your neck and imagine your neck's like toothpaste being squeezed out the tube. So just breathing in, balloon-like. Relax your neck. Now, are you breathing into your back ribs up to about that bra strap line? And relaxing your neck at the peak of the breath. I'm gonna have to go and get a glass of water. Excuse me, I'll be right back. Just enjoy that balloon-like breath. The beauty of you being at home is you can sneak away for a cup of tea if you want. You can have a chuckle at us moving like kids or whatever. But hopefully you're really enjoying being in the moment. Let's come up to all fours. Slightly bent elbows. Just take the donkey kick. So a slightly bent knee, just see, slightly bent knee, and you just touch the knee down. Keep the same angle on the knee. Up, squeeze the glute. Down, up, squeeze the glute. Can you keep the same angle on your knee? I don't know if I have, I think it is about the same. So make the challenge of whatever angle on the knee, just it's the same angle, right? Squeeze the glute. So now if you're able to, you can take the opposite hand and just put the knuckles in. Is it working? Yeah, and touch down and back up. We'll go the other side now. So just straighten your knee a bit. And whatever angle on the knee, just keep that same angle. That's like donkey kick. Crawler position is, there's a lot of really nice things we can do for coordination of the hips, and we're also getting strength around our shoulders and wrists. And we could just find out how the knuckles on the glute muscle. Is it working? You can find you can take that thigh bone a little further behind the body when the glute's working. I don't know, probably your wrists are about to give out, right? All right, so let's just come up to tall kneeling. Now, we can still use this all fours position. By the way, if your hands are just not too good that way, you might just go on to knuckle version if you like. I'm going to go knuckle version. So take a leg out the side, slide it away, and feel a stretch. Now, pull the foot and the knee together and feel the inside legs working as you slide back. And you can take it in, and we're even leaning over a bit, away from that long leg side. And away we go. Into the stretch, like a Cossack stretch. And there's your stretch. Now activate by pulling the foot and the knee together and come on in. It's like shampooing the top. Out, there's your stretch. Just relax into the stretch and lower into the stretch. Now pull the foot and the knee together and slide them back in. Just do two more. We're way over, just about ready to totter over the other side. Out we go. Sink into a stretch, that's your stretch. Now energize, pull the foot to the knee and slide back in. Over we go, just about ready to fall over, just one more. Stretching. Push the foot down and towards the other knee, up we come. And we just take it the other side. I'm just gonna face the screen. All right, I was knuckles, I'm gonna go down to hands this time. And out, and back. So kids, I think, would like that image of out with sinking down. Now, pull the foot to the knee, press it into the ground. And away we go. If you want really flexible, healthy hips, it's good to think about how would kids do this, right? And we've got that image in a big stretch there. Push the foot into the ground, pull it to the opposite knee. Yeah. And yeah, this is the sort of thing that the All Blacks conditioning coach was demonstrating. Now, perhaps he has actually brought the missing ingredient to All Blacks workouts. Now, okay, relaxing there, sinking down, we'll make it the last one. Now, pull the knee and foot together, press that foot into the ground, and in we come. And okay, so here we are, I've got two hands on the mat, one knee's up, the other's down. How would a kid get up from here? How would a baby? Well, they just get the foot underneath, they look up under their bushy eyebrows. I probably haven't got my eyebrows that, they can't. That was so good, why don't we do it again? How would a kid blow to the ground or play with some Lego? Well, that's a no-brainer, right? They just go down and start playing, right? And when they come up, because they're kind of short, they're not very big, are they, kids? Or they look up, and then they stand up, and, oh, what you got up there? That's what they do, right? See, maybe you want to have healthy hips, well, don't do Pilates, just do what your kids do, right? Just, or the grandchildren, or just look at them, what are they doing? And you try and do it as well. I'm gonna go back to the chair. Asians and Saudi Arabians, and I don't know, Jordanians and whatever else as well, squat toilet, sitting cross-legged, very low incidence of hip arthritis. So we could begin to think maybe this chair is our enemy. Well, it doesn't have to be that way. We can use it as our friend for a little bit of I'm just going to go maybe 5 times out. What about the space from the belt line to the rib? We still got that? Or we like to have a rounded back and do this? Let's make it nice and tall. Maybe it begins to look like yoga, Tai Chi. Really smooth, coordinated movement. This is my not so happy side. It's the one if I was part of a ballet dance troupe, I wouldn't want to do this in front of the other dancers because they'd say, oh, he's not moving very well. There we go. Well, maybe you can't see that, that's all right. Whatever you're doing, just enjoy. Okay, so the chair's your friend, can be. How are we doing with have we got our leg down to horizontal yet? By the way, just keep your weight equal on your sit bones. So keep your weight equal on the sit bones. So your spine's looking straight from in front. Right. Now remember, lean on the knee. It's not just the elbow pushing down, it's this heavy arm and shoulder. Down we go. So the shoulder's going. The whole arm feels heavy. There we go, that's better. Got weight equal on your sit bones? Got your space? Got your second rib lifting? Oh yeah. And we'll try the other side. So I would encourage you to make a time in the day that you make it a habit. Perhaps the chair will be your cue. Oh, there's a chair. I think I will do some chair stretches. Okay. So remember, it's the whole arm heavy, your shoulders dropping. Yeah, that's good. Yeah, that's good. And so just go back to the first one. Think about knee to opposite breast. But if the knee's coming across the body, well, let's the ankle and shin go over as well. So you see this knee's going over as well. I've even got the foot lifted. There we go. Oh boy. Yeah. There's something about hip stretches that if they were really nice to do, we'd all be doing them. And we'd put the hip surgeons out of business. Now, I don't know we'll ever do that. If they were really nice to do, we'd all be doing them, right? So my job is to help you enjoy doing hip stretches. Oh, yeah, that's and my dad here would say to us boys, if we were complaining, he said, nonsense, boys, we'll make ourselves enjoy it. And he was right. He was right. And just stop at that. I think we've really have gone a little over time there. You know, just give us some feedback, ask a question. The more you give me some feedback and you just ask, oh, Bruce, what about this? Well, I bring it into a next lesson, or I can give you an email to a video or whatever. So just do give us some feedback, and I'm just gonna call out now. Just see you later. Yeah, thanks. Okay, bye now.